Hello, football fans, and welcome back to Madden 24. In the last episode, I discussed the termination of Frank Reich, and I will say that happened just as I was making the video, so my opinion on that was very much based on my thoughts and not on any information I had at the time. Since then, I've done a lot of reading trying to understand what's going on with the team, and while I still feel that the decision was a bit rushed, I do understand the positionality of it a little bit more. So I do want to discuss that this week, and we're also going to take a look at a few of these things before we start with the game against the Saints this week. So let's go to the breakout linebacker here. Just want to say I really appreciated you involving me in the game last week. It gets boring out there just running routes and never seeing the ball. Keep throwing it my way. I'll truly believe I have potential to be one of your best players on the team, and all I need is an opportunity. All right, Jonathan Mingo, 3 touchdowns. So that was the wide receiver one, not the linebacker. But yeah, we'll definitely keep throwing to Jonathan Mingo. He is one of my top targets there. Brian Burns, the best thing about me, coach? I'm fast, I'm strong, I'm smart. I make plays, just look at last week's game tape. But still don't give me the respect. People still don't give me the respect I deserve. So I'm planning on single-handedly destroying the Saints offense this week. I hope the rest of the defense follows my lead. Well, yes, and if you followed actual football, Brian Burns got in trouble this last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for throwing a punch. It was sort of unfortunate, but it is the way it is. Right now, the Panthers are definitely in a state of having a lack of leadership, and it really showed, I feel like, in the game against the Buccaneers. It's part of the reason I do not like the firing still of Frank Reich in the middle of the season. I think that is a really poor decision for a team because it leaves them without that leader, and putting another coach in to take over really is setting that person up for failure. So I think that was a terrible decision in that respect. Now, with that being said, there have been several claims made this week that I think are important to look at. First of all, there's the claim that Frank Reich was not willing to work with Bryce Young really, and put in more run pass options for him. Now, I don't do the run pass option in my version of the offense, and that's partially because just in the game I find it a little bit challenging to use properly. I prefer the play action pass. But what we do see with the play action pass is sort of the same thing as the run pass option. It allows Bryce Young to get out in space and to actually be able to either use his legs or his arm in order to deal with a situation, as well as bringing the running game into that picture. So it does sort of the same thing as the run pass option would, and it really does show that it's an important thing for the Panthers, is that's how I get a lot of my passing yards. With that in mind, I do think that Frank Reich really should have played to Bryce Young's strength a bit more there. If he was unwilling to do so, that really is a problem with him being the head coach of the team. Now, that being said, again, I don't think the firing was a good thing right now. Other issues that have been sort of talked about is the fact that while I am still using the starting running back and I'm using Hayden Hurst in the offense to start as one of my starting tight ends, neither one has really produced for the Panthers this year, and they are costing an extraordinary amount of money for the team. Now, I do like the idea of bringing in some veteran talent when you have a bunch of rookies on the team. But the fact is, these ones are not really working out for them. Thielen, on the other hand, doing a decent job for my team. And I really do believe Andy Dalton being there with Bryce Young is helpful for Bryce Young. So those I don't have a problem with. But really, we didn't get what we were supposed to out of our running back. And even in the video game version here, I really just don't feel like the running back is that great for what I'm wanting to do with the team. He doesn't sort of fit the sort of mold that the team has sort of built. Hubbard, I think, is a better running back for this situation. I've been using him because I hadn't realized he had sort of been pulled from the field. I probably will remain using him because of the fact of his numbers and stuff for me throughout the season. But the problem I'm having is just the fact that he really doesn't have the ability to pound the football that well. He's not that power runner. And especially when you're doing more run pass option, or in my case, the play action pass, you need that pounding force of a running back. And we just didn't get that with this deal for the running back from Philadelphia. So that is an issue that falls directly on Frank Reich. Now, let's move on to possible candidates for that coaching position. A few names that I've heard thrown around, I actually am very excited for. One is the fact that with as badly as the Patriots have been doing this year in multiple ways, Bill Belichick's job may not be safe up there. And I mean, while I think that the Patriots would be foolish to let him go just over a little bit of a dry spot right now, I would not be upset about seeing him in Carolina by any means. I'd say we give him a new chance and let him see what he can do for us. Another possible option that I also am very excited about is Jim Harbaugh from the University of Michigan. I am a big University of Michigan fan. They've actually been my team for far longer than the Carolina Panthers have. I grew up watching Michigan Wolverines football, and so I've loved watching Harbaugh's job at Michigan. Yes, there has been the controversy this year. I personally think that controversy has been overblown and it's a bit ridiculous. Definitely am hopeful that the team is actually able to make it through the playoffs and win the national championship. That being said, I felt like the San Francisco 49ers made a huge mistake by allowing Harbaugh to go in the first place. And so, if my team had a shot at him, that would be fantastic. I think he does bring strong leadership to a team, and I think that he would give a solid direction to the team. There probably would be some changes to the staff, and that might even include Bryce Young for next year. But I would be very curious to see what direction he went with the team and what we would have as far as players in the future. Now, I do apologize if my breathing's a bit heavy today. Been having a cold this week. Just cannot seem to get any breath through my nose right now. With that in mind, though, let's look at the playoff picture here real fast, and then we'll jump into this week's game. So, of course, we are the number one because we're the undefeated team. On the other side, you have the Baltimore Ravens here. Number 2 team is Kansas City Chiefs. And you can sort of see how this doesn't exactly fit how things have played out for the season. The Steelers and the Texans, not as strong as they seem here. Bengals definitely have had their struggles. The Cardinals are an interesting choice here by far. But, I mean, the Eagles are a good one there. Where are the 49ers, though? Because they are definitely one of the teams that would be here in the real world. So it is interesting how the computer program doesn't always get things right. Maybe, just going to throw this out there, even though it's controversial, maybe that's because of the fact that the computer doesn't take into account referees making terrible calls. I'm just saying, not to upset people, but that does seem to happen a lot this particular year. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and jump into this week's game against the New Orleans Saints and see how we do.
It's Madden NFL 24, and we'll see Chris Olave. He had a standout game 1 week ago with 3 touchdown catches. It's the Saints and the Panthers. All that and more coming up next.
We are down on the bayou as you get a look inside the Caesars Superdome here in New Orleans. Today, it's a Week 14 matchup that should be a good one, as it'll be the Panthers of Orlando taking on the New Orleans Saints. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you look at this Saints team as they enter play. They come in playing pretty good football, winners of 4 of their last 6 games.
And the way they played last week defensively, you look at the tape, it looks like they had extra guys on the field, and they thoroughly shut down that offense.
On the other side of the field for the visiting Panthers, they've handled all comers through the first 3 months, a perfect 12-0.
Yeah, they're 3/4 of the way to a perfect season, and now is where it really starts to get into your mind. We'll see if it affects their play in any way.
2 teams trying to stake their claim to postseason football. Week 14 of the NFL is underway. And we will not see a run back on the opening kickoff. This will be a touchback. So here come the Saints to take over for the first time. And here's the new man under center after 9 seasons as a Raider. Derek Carr is the guy.
His game last week reminded me of the old song, accentuate the positive, because that's about all he did, right?
Yeah.
3 touchdown passes, over 300 yards in the air, receivers happy.
And they got the win.
Got the win. If you're a running back that likes to catch passes, they're happy as well. Big-time game.
They begin on the ground with Kamara. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31. Well, this defense for the Panthers, they were terrific a week ago in that victory over Tampa Bay, Charles.
It was a little bit enlightening talking with the defense coordinator about their performance last week, because the feeling was that it was a good, solid performance. They did what they needed to do to get the job done and get the win, but definitely a few lapses that they're looking to correct.
When you look at this defense, it's quite a unit. Number 1 in the NFL against the pass.
And for all the routes to keep an eye on in this one, they've got to find a way to take away the crossing routes. Those are the ones that when a receiver catches it on the run, those can really hurt a defense.
And he is going to have a Saints first down as they're able to convert by plenty there on 3rd and 1. Now Carr. Out of the backfield, that's complete to Kamara. So nothing doing there, and it'll be 2nd down.
As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. They're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10. To throw is Carr. They'll set up the screen now to Kamara. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. It'll be a loss of 2 on the play. And that'll make it 3rd and 13. And they're getting him involved early.
You feel like they saw something on tape, or they just have a sense with him because he's had a good week of practice or something in that area that they want him involved, just as you said. They want him to touch it either in the running game or the passing game, but they must like the matchups they're getting.
A big play there as they get the conversion on 3rd and 13. And Charles, with that completion, I'm told that puts him now over 3,000 yards passing on the campaign.
And Brandon, I think we have to start to think about where we are in the season because right now, 4,000 is not out of the question. I think a big game or two, he's certainly capable of getting that done.
And down inside the 35, he goes to the 32-yard line. A solid run on 1st down, gain of 7, leaves him with a 2nd and 3. They run it again with Kamara. And he struggles to get a yard here, maybe a yard, down to the 31.
Brandon, we talk all the time about those hybrid players, guys who can do more than one thing. And I think if you're playing strong safety in the NFL today, you are a true hybrid. Part linebacker, part cover guy.
And coming up, sticking his nose in the mess there and making a nice play defensively. They'll try to run for it. Here's Williams. And he is going to have a Saints first down by about a yard as they're able to convert on 3rd and 2. Had a chance to maybe limit them to 3 if they could have gotten that stop there, but a new set of downs.
And with a new set of downs, you got to take the mentality of the whole thing. Right now, everyone's looking at the offense and saying they've got the advantage. The best defenses just say, okay, new set of downs gives us another chance to make a play ourselves and maybe change things up.
Now a timeout here, at least for the moment. Looks like one of the Saints is injured, shaken up on that last play. While they come out and take a look at him, we will step aside for just a moment. So 2nd and 4 from the 22. Here's Carr. And it's caught. The tight end Hill. That'll be enough to keep the drive moving forward. Another first down on the pickup of 5 yards.
First drive of the game. We did see this in practice, didn't we? Because they allowed us to stay and watch and see what their opening script would be, even though we don't know the exact play calls. That looks a lot like what we saw them execute, doesn't it?
It really does. And in practice, it wasn't about a lot of big shots on that opening drive. They wanted to put together a series of plays, sustain it. They've done that. The defense now on their heels a little.
That they are. And you know what else is happening now? They're gaining information. They're gaining knowledge about how the defense is planning on playing them. So not only are they being successful on this drive, they're filing things away for future drives in this game.
Kamara. And they'll bring him down after just a short pickup. Give him 3 on the gain there. 2nd and goal. No score after 1 on EA Sports. Ready for the second quarter from New Orleans. It's the Saints in possession as they come up now 2nd and goal. Play action. Now it's Carr. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
Now we got 3rd and goal coming up, and couldn't you imagine being in that hole, partner? You know they're looking at each other saying, we can't come away with just 3 points after this drive.
Yeah, they've covered a lot of ground. They want more than that 3. Now the Panthers going to use the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter. The ball mere inches from the white line on 3rd and goal. They'll run it with Kamara. Fighting for the end zone. He lost the football. It's out. And it's picked up by the Panthers.
I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to the positive side this time. Yeah, there was a fumble at the end of this one, but what a sustained drive. And if they keep stringing those together, you got to like their chances.
And credit the defense, though. You're out there for that long, you start to get tired, but they were able to get the turnover.
Did you just credit the defense?
I like to credit the defense and the offense.
I like you.
And the analysts.
That's perfect.
So here are the Panthers set to take over for the first time. And Charles will get a look at the much-heralded rookie Bryce Young, the first overall pick from April's draft.
And if you go by the numbers, he's had a Pro Bowl-type season. And maybe that's even selling him a little bit short. He's the NFL leader in touchdown passes to this point in the year. And with the end of the season not too far away, he's got his guys playing at a very high level.
And now before the ball changes hands, they're going to take a look at this just to make sure that they have it right.
After review of the play.
So that one overturned. They say the knee was down, and that will not be ruled a fumble. The kick by Lutz is good. So he's been automatic to this point of the season, and he connects on the field goal there.
And what a luxury it is to have a kicker you can depend upon, partner, because he hasn't missed all year long. Converts on that one as well. And kudos to you. You didn't jinx him.
And able to get this out to the 25. Here come the Panthers now, set to take over on offense. This one a little slow to get cooking. Just a 3-0 scoreline as they begin with a 1st and 10. It'll be Sanders to begin the drive. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up. Well, partner, this offense 12-0 now on the year following their latest victory. And during the week, a lot of folks making comparisons between this squad and the 1985 Bears. You know, they too were 12-0 at this juncture of the season before losing on a Monday night 38-24 to the Dolphins at the Orange Bowl way back on December 2nd of '85. But then they never lose again en route to winning Super Bowl 20.
And when you look back on it, partner, didn't it almost feel like a setup game? Because they were playing the Dolphins, and the Dolphins were protecting their franchise's undefeated season of 1972, that team. And you know what that team does. They love to celebrate the fact that they still are the only one to get through an entire NFL season that way. That was Dan Marino's 3rd year playing under the great Don Shula, and they were motivated to keep that franchise's record intact.
He's got Mingo. Touchdown! Jonathan Mingo with a lucky number 13 touchdowns now on the year. And the Panthers have taken the lead. Charles, every time that he makes one of these plays, I think the front office, they get a bigger and bigger collective smile because they feel more confident that they have found their guy, their future at quarterback.
And they should feel that way. It's obvious he's a big part of why they have such a good record this season. You're right about the bright future as well, and by association, a bright future for the franchise too.
Piñeiro's extra point up and good. And that makes it a 7-3 lead. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And this will not be returned. It'll come out to the 25. New Orleans Saints, they get ready to set up shop for their second drive. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
To throw, it's Carr. Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. The Saints first down there on a gain of 11.
But they certainly made a point of getting him involved in the passing game here in the first half. They must have seen something in the scouting that said, hey, we can capitalize on him getting the ball, possibly in the open field. And I think in the second half, that may loosen up the defense a little bit to get the running game going back inside.
And he finds a little bit of room, enough for 4 yards. It'll be second down.
And that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
On second down, here's Carr. Complete. Smith has it. Second catch for him today, and it'll wind up a first down.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
A couple of first downs on the drive already, as they'll go from the 47 now on first down. Coming left is Kamara. And that'll be good for 8 yards to the 45.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
They stay on the ground this time. It's Williams. Past the 20. Touchdown, New Orleans. Jamal Williams, his 7th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Saints are once again back in front. Lutz with the extra point. And the lead is now 10-7. So that drive 6 plays, 75 yards. And it was Jamal Williams who ended things with a touchdown run. This fielded right at the goal line. And he won't quite make it to the 25. The Panthers coming back out onto the field for their second drive. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated. They both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
A big hitter to start the drive has him up near midfield here for 1st and 10. Another run with Sanders. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. Second down and 8. Up the middle they go with Sanders. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. We'll get a pause here. There appears to be a Panther who was shaken up on that last play. Well, hopefully, obviously, nothing serious here. Medical staff, though, going to take a peek, and we'll take a break. They go play action. Young. Short throw to the tight end, Thomas. And he's going to be out of bounds down around the 35-yard line. That's good. The completion there for 7 yards, and it's second down. It's Young off play action. Throw left side, pulled in by Mingo. And all the way to the 2-yard line there before crossing over out of bounds. An excellent pickup of 34 yards.
Already over 1,000 yards receiving this season. That catch is just going to add to his total. Certainly not resting on his laurels. He's trying to continue to gain as many yards as possible and continue this big season.
And he's got it. Touchdown, Panthers. Jonathan Mingo with his 14th touchdown of the year, 2nd of the game. And the Panthers have taken the lead. I'll let you do the analysis, partner, but with every touchdown pass this young quarterback throws and with the success that his team has had, I just continue to be more and more impressed.
Let's both do the analysis. Impressed, aren't we both?
Yeah.
I mean, and why shouldn't we be? We've seen him improve throughout the year. We've seen him settle in now, and you can see the confidence of the team has grown. His confidence has grown. I think that everyone around this guy feels good about what they've seen, and it's also safe for him when he's driving home to turn on Sports Talk Radio. He's okay.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. The return man down to a knee, and this will come out to the 25-yard line. Out is the Saints offense now as they get ready to take over here. A little bit of flip the script. Quarter one, they struggled. Quarter two here, they put things together. And I guess sometimes, Charles, you just come out and you have to get your feet underneath you in a ball game, right?
That's exactly right, because every now and then, you don't come out of the gate as fast or as strong as you want to. Sometimes you have to ramp up into it or take a few hits along the way and figure it out. And that's what they've done so far. Slow start, but now they're starting to put it together.
So following the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 25. From the gun, it's a run for Kamara. And he's going to get a good gain of 9 here up to the 34. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. Throwing now is Carr. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime.
Well, that was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. And he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
Now the Panthers going to signal for their 3rd and final timeout. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. From midfield, here's Carr. Little short pass here to Hill. They'll wind up getting just a yard, and that'll make it 2nd down. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
Carr. Pressure comes in. He's brought down. It's a Panther sack. The Saints in the hurry up here. Clock continuing to roll. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He's got his target. That's complete. Now we'll get a quick timeout called by New Orleans, number 2, as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. Carr's throw caught by his receiver, Hill. And they're going to have a first down, and they're in field goal range as well as they're down inside the 20. The final shot here before half for Carr. And his throw here is incomplete. So we've reached halftime here in a 4-point game. As we'll get you over to Orlando, where standing by is Jonathan Coachman. He has our EA Sports halftime report.
All right, Brandon, we'll get back to you and Charles in a bit. But first, let's get to some of these scores around the NFL here in a busy Week 14. We'll get started over at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta. And that one getting close to halftime with the Falcons out in front. Drake London, 2 touchdown catches on the afternoon. We'll stay in the AFC North as we head over to Cincinnati to check on the Bengals at home at Paycor Stadium. And they trail the visiting Colts as that one's gone to the intermission. It's the rookie, Anthony Richardson, with 2 touchdown passes. Lastly, let's get to the Windy City, see what's happening with the Bears at home at Soldier Field. And they trail the visiting Lions in that one. The Lions trying to hold on and claim victory. This has certainly been a fun one to watch so far. We knew this was going to be a battle, and we have not been disappointed. This is the kind of game that could wind up hinging on which side can play mistake-free football the rest of the way. Both teams going through their final halftime adjustments. We're about ready to get back to football. And to bring you the second half from the Superdome, let's go back to Brandon and Charles.
Okay, Coach, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this 3rd quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. The Panthers out in front, and they will get the football first. Second half action underway. Now the Panthers and Miles Sanders headed out for another drive. And he's sure looking like a lock for a 1,000-yard season. Don't know if he's going to get it in this game, but he'd probably like to just to get past that point.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, as you noted, there's still time, still opportunity. There's still more games to be played. So, yeah, it's not a lock. But barring injury, it certainly looks like he's going to get there. And what an accomplishment that is. Anytime you get over 1,000 yards, you're celebrated in the NFL.
It's been quite a season. Still a couple chapters left in that book, though. On play action, Young. He's got his tight end. It's Tommy Tremble. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. That one covers 24 yards. It's a first down.
Man coverage on the left side, so I really like the design of this play because they opened up the field and brought their tight end the other way on a crossing route. That's a lot of ground to cover if you're a defender. I've been there before, unable to stay with his man there.
So in Saints territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. They'll run with Sanders up the middle. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard.
That play wasn't quite as big as the play that preceded it, but still, got to like the way they're moving the football, partner.
Absolutely. Pretty good room to run on that last play.
Yeah, they didn't get a first down, but still, you'll take runs like that each and every time, won't you?
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. They go backwards there 2 yards, and 2nd and 1 is now 3rd and 3.
Well, I would have figured after the 9-yard run on the previous play, getting 1 more yard wouldn't have been much of a problem. But apparently it was, and now it's 3rd down.
Oh, that one well designed as he'll take this down to the 30-yard line. 58 yards rushing now on 8 carries for him so far.
Brandon, they're still in the lead, but momentum certainly been going the opposite direction. So to me, that's a really important pickup there on 3rd down.
Try and regain some confidence, and you're right. They need to stem the tide a little bit. That certainly helped. Short throw there, caught by Thomas. A short gain here, maybe a yard to the 29.
Got to give credit where it's due. Really nice defense on that play. The pitch and catch was successful, but not any run after it.
It's a 2nd down run with Sanders, and only able to muster a couple down to about the 27.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
On 3rd down, they turn to Sanders. And he's going to be brought down. He needed to get to the 20, but he's a yard or 2 short. This defense not budging. Back-to-back carries of just 2 yards.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense get a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. Needing the tough yards, they run it with their fullback. And he is going to have a Panthers first down. Boy, that was a tough couple of yards to pick up, but they convert on 4th and 1.
I don't care what he's listed in the program. Fullback, running back, tailback, it doesn't matter. He ran that play like a fullback. Just like the old days when we saw the fullback dive. How about him picking that one up?
Well, they needed a yard on 4th down. That's what he's there for, right?
Exactly. Line him up, short yardage situation, and say, here it is, big man. Go get it. I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes, but the best part for him, he's got 2nd and 3rd down to fall back on.
Young to the end zone, but it's incomplete.
Well, every point certainly counts at this stage of the game, but after driving so far, you absolutely know they want to finish it with 6 instead of 3.
Young off the play fake. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And the Panthers are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points.
That's a big conversion there on 3rd down, and this has been a great opening drive. You know, at this point, they'd hate to settle for 3, but they've created a fresh set of downs and a 1st and goal.
They'll run with Sanders. And he gets him a little bit closer, takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4. And we got an injury here. And I believe, yes, that's the wideout, Adam Thielen. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside. 2 of their 3 red zone trips so far, they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on 2nd and goal. From the shotgun, it's Young. He's got it for a Panther touchdown. DJ Chark, his first touchdown on the year. And the Panthers take the opening kickoff of the third quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead. Well, to put it mildly, he's been able to dice up this secondary all game long, and this time that was a missile that he threw into the end zone and adding another touchdown to his ledger.
And I think we see these youngsters develop a lot quicker than we ever have, because when they get started in this game, they're not just throwing passes around. They're reading coverages early. So now they're like seasoned pros earlier in their career. How about this one here? If they win this ball game, a game ball definitely coming from his head coach.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And he'll just sit on this one as their drive will start at the 25. Now the attention turns to the Saints offense getting ready for their first possession of the second half. They make their second half debut here, and things are looking a little bit tougher now. You give up the points there, Charles, that touchdown drive on the other side. So now it's a two-score game here. Got to be careful.
They certainly do, and I'm just wondering at halftime if those guys just looked into each other's eyes and realized what they've got to get done and come out a little bit more charged up, because if they don't get some kind of points here, that next drive, that could make this a three-possession game.
Carr will try it again on second down. And that almost their first INT of the ball game. Had his sights on it, but he couldn't seal the deal. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. Carr going to throw. The Panther rush too strong. They get there and take him down. Brian Burns racking up sack number 12 for him on the year.
Well, someone's closing in on the league lead in sacks. He came into the game in the top 5. Now you add 2 more to his total.
Here comes the Saints punter now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And the win last week punted 4 times as this one's away. And a fair catch taken here right at about the 40-yard line. It'll be a 39-yard punt, no return. And the Panthers will take over now, 1st and 10. The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. Right now, everything they touch turns to gold. This is their 4th possession. Touchdowns on their first 3 possessions. I mean, this defense, they can't seem to stop them. It's like they're on skates.
Great analogy, Brandon, because they are pushing them back and winning everything at the line of scrimmage. They've just been laying down tracks towards the opposite end zone. So to themselves, all they're saying is, if we don't make a mistake, there's no way they can stop us.
3 quarters have come and gone. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. Back now here live in New Orleans. It's the Panthers out in front and in control of the football as well as we begin quarter number 4. On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. Down to about the 22 here. 75 yards rushing for him here as he starts to draw closer to a 1,000-yard campaign. From the 22 now, here's 2nd down and 3. They'll go again with Sanders, and they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, 1st down.
Well, it is our business to analyze what we saw out there, and on that play, I saw a defense staying in base, not taking a chance, not blitzing, in a situation where they absolutely need the football back. That's either a case of overthinking it or not thinking it through.
If you do blitz, do you have to be careful about where you're coming from, or are you just coming from all angles?
You have to be careful about where you're coming from, obviously, but at this stage, you have to take a few chances as well.
Now a carry for Sanders. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. Good job there keeping him to a short gain. Of course, he's coming off a really terrific performance, reigning NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
And I know people get caught up in, well, if you're the reigning Defensive Player of the Week, you must have made a bunch of spectacular.
And he's got it. Touchdown, Panthers. Tommy Trimble, a 14-yard touchdown. And the Panthers add on to their lead, and it's looking like that win streak is going to extend another week. Another touchdown through the air for them, and for this rookie quarterback at the helm, he has put them in a great position, Charles, to get the victory in this one.
He's absolutely taken charge. Every touchdown for them has come via his arm. 0 rushing touchdowns, no special teams, no defensive scores. All him throwing the football. He's in cruise control right now, and so is his team.
Piñeiro's extra point up and good. And the lead is up to 18 now. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And he'll just take a seat, and the drive will begin at the 25-yard line. The New Orleans offense back out and ready to go. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
Card out a throw. And he's got Smith here. 5th catch of the afternoon, and that gives him a first down. Looking to speed things up here, going with some tempo. On first down, Carr. And oh, that nearly their first pick of the game, but it falls down to the ground, incomplete. Now Carr, after the incomplete pass, brings him up 2nd and 10. He'll look to throw. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off by J.C. Horn. And the Panthers are going to get the football here at their own 40-yard line. Well, offensively, Charles, hard to put a silver lining on this one. No secret that they had to take chances with a score where it is, and it leads to a turnover.
I love how you paint the picture, partner, because you're exactly right about that one. Look at the empty stares on that sideline. This is one of those games where you just want to go crawl under a rock until it's over.
The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. And after the interception, they are sitting in an even better spot with the ball and a comfortable 4th quarter lead. They start on the ground here at Sanders. And he'll get it out to midfield. They'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. 93 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific season continues here. Options galore here. 2nd and a few inches. Another run here with Sanders. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. 2 yards, good enough for a first. Hate to be blunt, but it is just continuing to prove to be the case that this O-line is manhandling this D-line right now.
They deserve to roll up their sleeves and show up their biceps, because they're doing exactly what you just described, manhandling the defensive front. They've got the leverage, they're powering through, and they're controlling this game.
7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3. Good gain there on first down. It keeps them in a running situation probably.
They did everything right on that play, didn't they? They got the leverage up front, good blocking, nice hole for him, ends up picking up nice yardage, stays in bounds to keep the clock rolling. They are in charge of this scenario right now. They want to stay that way.
And not in any rush offensively. So it's Panther football as we welcome you back from the 41. Here's 2nd and 3. They'll try to throw now. Young. And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up 3rd down. On 3rd down, they'll run it with Sanders. And he gets it to the 34. Good enough for the first. Move the chains. A gain of 7 on 3rd down.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with. And throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. They'll run it, Sanders. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. Starting to become a tough spot for this defense. You're down fourth quarter, looking a little fatigued maybe on that side of the ball.
Partner, we've seen this before, haven't we? Because every coach we've ever talked to says body language is important. And now you're seeing guys with their hands on their hips, they're bent over, hands on their knees. And the offensive guys, they're just saying, let's just keep running it at them. We've got them now.
In need of only about the length of the football here on second down. They'll run with Sanders. And a strong run there as he'll maneuver his way down inside the 15. Give him 10 there, good enough for a Panther first down. At carries like that, that's how they're going to continue to salt this thing away here, Charles, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, how about that? A new set of downs. Clock continues to move. No better way to close out a game than to tap those mastodons you have up front and say, guys, keep pounding them. Let's keep the ball, keep their offense on the sidelines, and let's close this one out.
So this crowd will not go home happy. It's a victory for our visitors. And it was their defense that really made the statement after the break. They pitched the second half shutout.
Yeah, think about the team that just got vanquished. They did score in the second quarter. Do you think they thought at all that that would be their last points of the game?
No, but what a second half. The adjustment, whatever they did in the locker room, it certainly worked.
It certainly did, and you're exactly right. Whether it was an adjustment, whether it was just more focus on what they planned to do going in, whether they just played better, whatever it was, it all came together in the second half, and no points were allowed. That's a great way to close them out.
So for Orlando, the streak lives as they move to 13-0 now on the year. And they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for New Orleans, they can ill afford to drop too many more as they fall to 7-6 on the year. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.
If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and click the like button. And if you've not already, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon